really, on the Republican side, what we do know is that for years they have coordinated what they call their message of the day. So you'll hear on the floor of the House, you'll hear on Rush Limbaugh, you'll hear on Fox and Rupert Murdoch's network, the issue of the day, which they will pound away at, which then creates the echo chamber, which resonates throughout America.
Sometimes it's hard to tell it when you listen to the filter.
Try set it a place, sitting there right dead in your face. Put together kind of cover by the head of the states. With the devils out of cheddar and the red of the states. For themselves at the risk of the hell of the race. Using media sources to help their performance. Making a separation between people enormous. Steadily feeding what you believe in. Not giving a reason to keep eating the courses that been served. And to make sure that the plan's not disturbed. And the problem using force. Ready to sacrifice that it was active life. Just to make sure that they keep their view on course. True support is what it really view is important. Even though all their views are just loose and sorted. Not following the rules will get you deported. And if that ain't good enough, then you will be deported. I know that it seems distorted. They take you to follow your dreams, and you got the means to afford it. But if you're broke, then I guess your dreams are slaughtered. There's in a world with no need of being recorded. Of course, it's a plan distorted by men, believing they deserve to play as God's hand. For the wild, those ones at the bottom are like them, cause the land that they trying to grow in is like sand. Killing the spirit and shortening the lifespan. Living a system that only gives you a light chance. Living in what you're given to keep it from climbing. Bringing fear into the hearts of those people that might stand for something. It seems like all around the world's corruption. Continuing this fucked up plan we stuck in, making it hard to function. And if nothing happens soon, there's gonna be an eruption like this. Here must stop. We gotta work together to get out of the box and like this. Here must cease. Otherwise we continue with the beat and like this. Here must end. We gotta do our own, not follow the train. Cause I'm telling you, if we keep on following them, we're gonna end up with the same damn problem again. It's like this. Here must stop. We gotta work together to get out of the box and like this. Here must cease. Otherwise we continue with the beat and like this. Here must end. We gotta do our own, not follow the train. Cause I'm telling you, if we keep on following them, we're gonna end up with the same damn problem again.
A small number of companies have this much concentrated power, they will always abuse it. It's simply unacceptable in a free society. And if you don't change the system, we can be having this conversation for the next 50 years. We'll be talking about Rupert Murdoch III.
Call it propaganda, all wanted to answer. All is lost if we stay caught up in the trance of what the system symbolizes. It's right, it's all depends on how they value your life. It's all dependent on if you're drawn by devices. All devices use the pass on the virus through your iris and other sound sources. Creating all these methods to keep the crowd dormant, performing a hoax unknown the most. Demanding obedience from coast to coast. Steadily repeating it till you overdose. Feeding you the same shit till you're comatose. Keeping you confused by using hope and quotes. Hope and folks don't know that's how they broke their hopes and dreams. Using the same cloaks and schemes to keep us searching for the truth without the goals or means to get it done. So some decide to get a gun to feel safer as an American set a son, a daughter. Cause it doesn't seem that much to offer from those we chose to hold the throne, the altar. Those who chose to use control the altar. Thoughts of folks who lost in open water. Trying to stay afloat, find a way to cope with the current coming out. I'm just trying to make a joke. It seems like these schemes designed to make us broke. It's funny to me, but I'm not trying to make a joke. I just pray and hope that we start to realize entertainment's a great way to conceal lies. So I feel I must continue to speak up on these schemes at every venue. To keep pushing my dreams and means to send through a message. The power that changes in you. I know it sounds out the foolish, but don't be foolish about the tools being used to keep us stupid. Feel over the truth, trying to keep us clueless. The tools being used are so cold and ruthless. Misguided men making bold excuses. Playing with people's lives for their own amusement. And it doesn't really matter where you go. The truth is that everybody at the bottom's going through this. People all around, please open your eyes. Things really gotta change, and now is the time. You find your way as long as you aim for the skies. But first we got this great big mountain to climb. People all around, please open your eyes. Things really gotta change, and now is the time. You find your way as long as you aim for the skies. But we gotta work together just to make the climb. This here must stop. We gotta work together to get out of the boxes like this. Here must cease. Otherwise we continue with the pieces like this. Here must end. We gotta do our own, not follow the train. Cause I'm telling you, if we keep on following them, we're gonna end up with the same damn problem again. It's like this. Here must stop. We gotta work together to get out of the boxes like this. Here must cease. Otherwise we continue with the pieces like this. Here must end. We gotta do our own, not follow the train. Cause I'm telling you, if we keep on following them, we're gonna end up with the same damn problem again.
First rule of being a great propaganda system, and why our system is vastly superior to anything in the old Soviet Union, is not that people think they're being subject to propaganda. People don't think that. They aren't looking for that. They're much easier to propagandize. And that's the genius of our media systems, a system of ideology, of control compared to an authoritarian system.
What you will see, of course, is intensive discussion about what we call the wedge issues. You'll hear, affirmative action. You'll hear abortion. You'll hear certainly gay rights. God in separation of church and state issues will be on television every single day.
Hey everybody. That was basically He is an MC locally in Savannah, Georgia, and I see him every Tuesday night at the live hip hop night here. So I have to prop my peeps. I'm Alice, as I said. I'm in Savannah, Georgia, and I'm here with Cindy, who's in Northwest Ohio. Hey, Cindy.
Hey, good evening, all.
And Eddie is also doing on-air comment moderating for us tonight. Hey, Eddie.
How's it going?
Awesome. So we're gonna do a 30-minute pregame for you guys tonight. We're gonna cover a couple of different things, but we want to start with the I don't know, some really good news for the day is kind of a cool news bite. Bernie is now leading nationally in a national poll by 47% to Hillary's 44%. So that's pretty cool. That was reported in Politics USA, and I think, sorry if I'm going too fast, John. There's a link, so you can see the article. I did not have time today to check Real Clear Politics to see if it's incorporated into that yet, but hopefully it will be, because that would be awesome. So I think, go ahead.
That was a Fox News poll, though, right? Actually,
it was a Fox News poll? Okay. All right. See, I did this rundown so fast, guys. I didn't do a good job as my own personal research assistant today.
So. Okay, it is a Fox News poll. Scott did point that out. All right. There was an earlier poll today though, that showed they're within a couple points, within the margin of error. They're literally tied nationally. So.
Yes.
So, but that's a lot better than he was doing, 6 months ago. 6 months ago was like, Bernie who? No one had any idea. So this says to me that his message is good, that people are hearing it and they're liking it.
Yes.
So, and it's not like yo-yoing. People are consistently getting on board, and you can see that in the endorsements too. There's people who they're with Hillary and then they learn about Bernie and they switch. So this is the way we want to go. So good job, everybody.
Yay. We're getting the news out there, and that's what we need to do. It's amazing how many people hadn't heard of Bernie much until New Hampshire or Iowa.
Right.
And all of a sudden they hear him all the time, and they're like, who is this guy? Where does he come from?
Well, you can see the huge difference in the mainstream media coverage. Now people are saying, oh, he's run such a great campaign, so disciplined. He's got enough money. He's got a lot of organization. He's got a good message. He's keeping it pretty positive, for the most part. Yeah. So people, even like the mainstream media is starting to be like, oh, we just missed the boat on this completely. So
yeah, I'm finding it really funny. Was it Morning Joe? And I don't know their names on that show, but they're like, oh, Bernie has just done so wonderfully. Like they've been on his side all along and have talked about him all along, but they just had him on a few times compared to Hillary. So yeah, I'm amazed at, I knew they would do that, though, eventually.
Oh, sure. No, they would have to be backpedal a little bit and be like, oh, we knew the whole time, totally. We were on it. We just didn't say anything.
Yeah, they even said things about, oh, Hillary's going to lose in Nevada. And I was like, wow, they actually said it.
I don't know. I think he's got a better chance there than in South Carolina. I live, a few miles from the South Carolina border, the southern South Carolina border. So it's and I used to live in Charleston, so I have sort of a sense of what it's like there, and I think obviously he's going the right direction there. He's obviously on the upswing, surging or whatever they keep saying, but I don't know if there's enough time. So that's where I am. What do you think about South Carolina, Cindy?
Well, I was actually born there and lived there till I was in kindergarten, but and I have family still down there. I don't know. Are the ads that I've seen online running there the really good ads with Erica Garner, some of the civil rights ads? Some of them are really good. I think he's got a real good chance if people are actually seeing those ads, and we're reaching out to especially the young college groups of people and working people in South Carolina. I think Bernie's probably got an edge. There's a good Hispanic population I know in the state now than there probably was when I lived there. Another group I think he's doing really well in. So yeah, I think we shouldn't really say he's behind in South Carolina anymore. I bet he's doing a lot better than we think he is, especially if people see those commercials. I thought they were really well done. I was just overwhelmed by how well they were.
The Erica Garner one was really solid. I loved that one. That was really powerful.
Yeah.
Okay, so
Alice, I'm going to jump in here real quick and make a statement. We've got some people asking a question about what we're doing tonight with the feed. And so I want to fill them in. Give me 1 second. Hi, everybody. My voice is probably not in sync. Apologies. So what's going on tonight is that we don't have a feed of the Democratic Forum that is on MSNBC. That, of course, is controlled by corporate media. However, we do have a feed. Oh, I got to get rid of the green bar. That looks terrible. We do have a feed from Scott, who was in the dinner. So the dinner is happening after the forum, from what we can tell. Scott's getting set up in there right now, and they're going to be doing some speaking in there as well. And so we'll have that, and then we'll have and we'll also have Scott while the debate is going on. We should have Scott potentially from a watch party. I say the debate, the forum. While the forum is going on MSNBC, we should have footage possibly live from Scott in a watch party. So either way, we will have some live coverage. It should include some Bernie. Just not quite sure how it's going to fit in the timeline tonight. We're still trying to figure it out. They've made it very confusing as to what they're actually doing with the timeline. So there you go. Back to you guys.
All right, thanks. Yeah, this is I've had a busy couple days, so I kind of threw this together at the last minute. So thank you for filling us in, John. All right, so next on our list is
running down our.
Yeah, well, I'm looking at a little outline document. Okay, so Cindy, you did something cool this week. Was it this week or last week? It was this week.
It was this week, past Monday morning, early, yes.
Okay, so you guys might have seen the video floating around of the long line at the Bernie rally. Well,
extremely long line at the Bernie rally.
The lovely Cindy was in that line. And,
yes, luckily I was closer to the door than to the end of the line, but that entailed staying outside in the cold for over 2.5 hours so we could get inside. Yeah. And it was not a pleasant day in Ypsilanti, Michigan, which of course it's February and the Great Lakes. So yeah, you don't really expect it to be balmy weather, do you? But
no.
Yeah, it was not that as bad as it could be, but it could have been nicer. And in fact, they lied on AccuWeather that morning.
No.
It was about 19 degrees Fahrenheit. So.
Oh my God, that's so.
It was bitterly damp, which it usually is in this part of the world. So yeah, a lot of people standing in that line that did go at least a mile, because when we had to get out of the parking lot, and it took about an hour to get out of the parking lot later after it, we went that route, and from that drive all the way up there, it goes past a football stadium. That's one picture I have. Mm. It's the football stadium length. It kept going another block, past another light, and then went around the corner to another street. So yeah, I would say at least a mile. And the Hare Krishnas dancing along it. We didn't see them too often. So if they started from the front of the line and got to the back, I can see why we didn't see them too often, because they weren't hopping that quickly.
Yeah, they had a long way to go.
Singing and dancing and drumming. So they were interesting.
How was the atmosphere? It sounds like everyone was pretty amped, like pretty excited that Bernie was there.
These were real Bernie believers. I was going to say everybody who was there had to want to be there, because you don't stand outside for several hours in sub-freezing temperature and risk frostbite. And the thing that really concerned me, we had a lot of young people and working people there with not adequate clothing. Which is terrible when you live in the northern Midwest and the Great Lakes region and you don't own a coat. But
you can't do that. No, you gotta have
inadequate clothing to be outside for that long, and you could tell there were working kids, and the shoes, not trainers, sneakers don't work in this weather. And they were there. A group that we talked to were there because they were all kind of taking a break from work because they wanted to hear more about Bernie's $15 minimum wage proposal. So.
Cool.
That I found very fascinating. Not all college kids there, though. We were on Eastern Michigan University campus, which is a nice little medium-sized state school right next door to University of Michigan, which, of course, is a huge mega school. So, yeah, a lot of students. Some got bused and about 5 miles away from UM. But a lot of working people, older people, yay, and Bernie babies. I was impressed with the mothers in the snuggle sacks with the babies up against them to keep warm.
Yeah, smart.
We had all ages and all types of people, all races, Muslim people wearing their scarves and things like that. I noticed in the arena. So this area of the world is pretty culturally diverse in that regard. And it was just, yeah, we were really impressed that we really did enjoy talking to people in line. And then when we had to wait a couple hours inside the arena. So you do learn. Here's a picture here. I can see him now. That was when Bernie came in. It was very difficult to see when Bernie came in. People all kind of ran over to the corner, kind of like in a basketball arena where they come in through a corner thing. The Secret Service is everywhere. This is probably the most policed event I've ever been to. They are noticeable, and they're probably not noticeable, but we had sheriff's deputy, campus cops. The TSA is there. That's how you get through the wands and the metal detectors.
Wow.
It's just amazing how much security you go through. But they processed about, I would say, between 9,500 and 1,000 people into that stadium or arena within a couple of hours before Bernie spoke.
Wow.
And we were waiting, and we kept wondering, where was Bernie? It took a while for Bernie to show up. He was about 10, 15 minutes late that our first speaker came up, and she was with the Michigan Nurses Association, who has endorsed Bernie, 11,000 member union. Yay.
Yep.
So the nurses are pro-Bernie. And we kept going, where's Bernie? Where's Bernie? There was a lot of false starts. Those Secret Service don't give anything away, though, so you watch them, you won't know.
So
but finally he showed up.
So just briefly, what did he cover? I mean, we've all seen, you and I have probably seen him talk a lot. I'm sure most people that are watching this today have seen him talk a lot. But what did he cover? Anything in a different way that you hadn't heard, or speaking more in depth?
Yes, he really did. He came out of the box pretty much we were probably the first group to hear his comments on Flint, Michigan, because the reason he had been late is that he had gone to Flint that morning. And so it's about 30, 40 miles away from Ypsilanti at least. Maybe it's a little further, I'm trying to remember. But he had gone up there and spoke to some parents, and his voice started out rather gravelly, which we kind of get used to. We know Bernie is speaking everywhere, and he had been in Nevada the night before, and he had God knows how many speaking engagements the last week. But what was amazing, I don't think his voice got very strong during his speech. He wasn't hoarse. I think he was actually in tears when he told us about the mother he had talked to, whose child was just mentally deteriorating in front of her eyes because of the lead in the water. And he said he did call on Snyder's resignation, which of course in a Michigan arena got a lot of cheers.
Yeah,
I mean,
but that's kind of a
complicated
situation, though, because the guy who was set to be his replacement is not, or the person, if I recall, is not so great either.
Yeah, I mean, Michigan's kind of in a real pickle there. It's just a lot of not very good Republican leadership, I guess, but people were really cheering for that.
Not being, I have not explored the Midwest a whole lot, so I'm not very familiar with the political climate there. But I always felt like it was likely to be like very strongly pro-union.
It was at one time. That's the saddest thing about it. Yeah, since the Reagan era, the unions have been decimated, and I'm not even exaggerating. Decimated. They are so weak here and so few and far between that the UAW even allows them to hire temp workers at $10 an hour at Jeep in Toledo. Yes. Okay. It's that bad. That's why I could go on about Governor Kasich in Ohio, another person who's not a favorite of Democrats or Bernie supporters in this part of the world. But yeah, this is an area that's really has been hurting the last 25, 30 years. And so Bernie, if we could bring back more pro-union, culture in this country, I think it would do. We call the Rust Belt. A gentleman behind us we were chatting with says, we're not the Rust Belt. We're probably the Lead Belt because we all have crumbling infrastructure and we're all probably getting lead in our water. And I think, I live in a little town. There's a little city in Ohio over by Youngstown. It's also got lead problems in their water. They're going to find it in a lot of cities here.
That's so scary. That is just terrifying. I mean, because if you have property there, it's worth nothing right now.
There's still quite a few people around here. There's about 10 million people within 100 miles of Detroit downtown.
Right.
This is a heavily populated part of the country. There's large families. There's still a lot of agribusiness and other business going on. But no, the infrastructures are gone. I mean, we need new pipes. We need new water system.
Wow.
We need a lot of new stuff. So what Bernie's saying is talking to a lot of people here.
Yeah, that seems like he's listening to them. So that's great.
Yeah.
I love hearing that. Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you so much for sharing that whole thought process. That's awesome.
Hey guys,
Yeah.
I got to break in really quick again.
Sure.
And just thank Richard Torres, who just clarified something for this ignorant, privileged white man. Give me one moment. I just want to say thank you really quick. And I forgot to fix the green bar. Richard Torres, in all seriousness, I had no idea. I won't ever use the term Hispanic again. Did you guys see that come through?
Yeah, I saw that.
No.
Thank you, Richard.
I'm not aware. So
no,
Latino,
in Texas, we were
Is it
told
Latino?
Hispanic
Okay. Yeah, I usually use Latino.
I appreciate that.
Yeah.
So Latino,
Yeah.
my bad. I think I've used a multitude of terms, and I had no idea it came from the Reagan era and all of that shit. So thank you for educating a dumb white man. I appreciate
that would
it.
make sense in Texas. They would use that more, be more Republican. Yes, I can see that.
All right, there we
Okay.
go.
Thanks. Cool. Thanks for that. Okay. All right. So I think so. We have like less than 10 minutes before are we going to jump to it? Right away.
Let me see here, guys. Scott did say that he was. Scott did say that he was. That sound's coming out of your speakers, Cindy.
Yeah, I know.
Cindy,
Okay, stop it.
Sorry, folks. I don't know what makes that sound. None of us do. I'm waiting for Scott to tell us what's going on, folks. Scott said that he was waiting for Secret Service to get him through the stuff. I didn't really mean to come back on screen. So what's going on here is MSN is going to kick on, and what we'll do is leave for the meta because we can't show you the MSN's the MSNBC stuff. So as soon as that kicks on, we'll cut to the meta stuff. If Scott has a feed from somewhere else, we'll probably break into that. I'd rather show live stuff than keep running the meta. So there. All right.
Okay. Well, I have maybe 15 more minutes worth of discussion. so whatever. We'll roll with it and see what happens. This is how we do it on Bernie TV. Actually, Eddie, hey, can we check in with comments? I haven't been looking at them at all. So are you?
Yes, I am. How's it going?
Okay, good. Yeah. So what are people chatting about in the chat?
Right now they're talking about, I actually found someone that is a pricing captain in Nevada right now. I can't find them. Right now we do have a question.
Okay.
From 777 Nightshade. If Sanders got a significant win tomorrow, say about 15%, how much would that affect South Carolina?
I mean, I think any strong showing in Nevada is only going to help South Carolina. I mean, really, like, it's a momentum situation at this point. I mean, he's in a really good place because he was like a tie in Iowa and blew it out of the water in New Hampshire. So it's everybody's gonna have to pay attention. It's not just like some fringe. Sadly, that was O'Malley. So.
Yeah. I definitely think he's on a roll. People like a winner.
Definitely.
Keep going with a winner. As long as he's doing a good showing, I think it's only going to help him.
Yeah. So yeah, fingers crossed. I mean, it all looks like it's heading the right direction.
All right. We have another one from Mark Terry. But I don't know. There's some noise in the background for someone.
That's me.
Please, yeah, you're gonna have to mute. Thank you. Sorry about that, guys. We really got to. Sorry about it.
All right, for Mark Terry, but let's be serious here. What are Sanders' chances of winning Nevada? I think they're. I want to try to answer this a little bit.
Yeah, do it. Go.
Yeah. So far, I saw a poll that showed Clinton at 69% chance of winning Nevada.
Mm-hmm.
But they've been all around all day, so I really can't really give a accurate thing. Do you know?
Yeah, no, I have not. I had to actually work to make money today, unfortunately. So I have a very limited amount of time to be my own research assistant here. But I do think that he's, it's. I mean, I keep hearing that it's a tie in Nevada right now. That it's basically, within the margin of error on any poll.
Yeah, it was like Hillary ahead by 1 percentage point, but they gave a margin of error of 6%,
Yeah, that's the
which
one
is really large for, which means they don't really know, in other words. I would say it's statistical dead heat.
Now, Nevada is a caucus, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
It'll be like Iowa.
So this I'm hoping that they watched what happened in Iowa and we're like, okay, let's make sure that we get it together. Don't mess up.
There's a couple things, guys. Nevada's a caucus, one, but we were reading the Nate Silver stuff this morning on the newsroom, and what he's saying is there's a lot of states that are 50-50 states, and he's got to win those 50-50 states. That's where the momentum carries over. If he starts to lose the 50-50 states, then he's done for. States where he's obviously going to have a loss, we just take a loss. South Carolina is going to be drastically affected, in my opinion, by Nevada, because I think what we're going to see there is a lot more Latino vote, because they're not counting the youth vote, and they don't really have the demographics broken down correctly. I don't think the polls are very accurate on what's happening there. So I think it affects it, and we had a whole bunch of endorsements that just came through the other day that I think are going to make a major difference.
I was going to say he has Justin Bamberg from South Carolina, state rep.
Yep,
that's a very good
really cool.
Good endorsement, I thought, from South Carolina. So good for him. Thank you, Justin. Did you see some of the caucus videos, the commercials by chance, Alice? Some of them were very cute, like 10-second videos that say, wake up and go caucus. I guess it's at 11 o'clock in the morning on a Saturday, so if we can get young people in Las Vegas up from, a Friday night and go out and caucus.
Wow, that's a tough time.
They will get out and caucus, but the little ads, the little blurbs for Bernie, get up and feel the burn and vote or caucus. I thought they were great. I came across those today and watched all of them.
They've got great advertising people. I really am so impressed. I don't know. I can't even pick up, like, every single one is just like really just so
I have to admit, I like Bernie's ads so far. All upbeat, fun, positive, friendly. Yeah. I've seen 1 or 2 Hillary ads just because somebody had them on a show and was kind of dissecting them. Mm-hmm. They wouldn't sell me on her, I hate to say.
No, I saw one that she did that that was basically making Bernie. It was trying to sell Bernie as like a one-issue candidate. Like, oh, it's all about Wall Street. Always talks about Wall Street. Every answer to every question, every debate is Wall Street. And I was like, that kind of makes me feel like he understands how things are interrelated. But okay.
Hillary should not have the word Wall Street put beside her or connected to her in any way.
Right. That would be the optimum choice, I think, there. I think she should be like, nope, I'm a normal human. Let me go do some normal human things and you guys can watch me.
I just wonder, she's got a lot of money or had a lot of money. I'm not sure how well she's doing right now, and she's put them into her advertisements. She doesn't seem to be getting the bang for her buck very well. Is it just me, or?
I mean, I'm not obviously not in that in the Hillary-verse. But this is kind of a good segue to my other conversation. I don't know if we can squeak it in here. Maybe we're about to jump off.
No, a couple things, guys. So we didn't run this clip. We have this 2-minute, 30-second clip from you that we
Yeah,
that's a very good clip. Yeah,
so we could run that, and right now it's just Rachel Maddow talking to Biden. Saying they'll return shortly to the stream, so there's nothing exciting going on. You could check in with comments. There's a lot of good discussion going on there.
Okay, outstanding.
You guys all take a look at that. Talk for 2 seconds. I'll pull up this video and we'll run it.
Okay, cool. So Eddie,
tell us about good comments back here, Eddie.
Tell us what people are discussing. Any new questions?
Let's see what I can see. Is that the streaming? Nope. Hold on. Oh, okay, from Diane Sirocco. I'm sorry if I said your name wrong. I'm in Flint. Has anyone heard about the March 6th debate tickets?
Oh, good question.
No.
I would love to go to the debate in Flint, too. I suspect it will be like the one at the University of Wisconsin. They'll give out like a handful to the actual people in the neighborhood, and then the rest will be under the hands of the DNC. They'll be handling that. Which means they go to Hillary supporters usually.
Well, yeah.
I hope not, but if it's the same as it has been for other past debates, that seems to be the common
No, it seems
procedure.
like the audiences are picked for because they're undecided voters, or they have a particular stance. I mean, I feel like it's smart to pick undecided voters. Like that makes sense to me. So I don't know if that's how they choose. But
no, mostly they're rewarding good, faithful DNC members. That's from what I understand, or state Democratic committee members. Yes.
Okay, interesting.
So
I did not know that was the criteria. Well.
Yeah. If there's any marches or protests going on that day, let us know. That sounds fun. I might go brave the cold again.
Do it. Yeah, get some pictures. That would be awesome.
Be fun.
Yeah. Okay. No. Thanks for that. Thanks for that comment. That's. I didn't know they were doing a debate in Flint. I'm off my game. I don't know all the cool news.
I knew they had one, but it'll be before the Ohio primary, which is the 15th, and the Michigan primary is March 8th. So we're very close together here. So yeah, that's probably why they wanted that in there.
At once. Like the Georgia primary is March 1st.
We're just going to roll from March 1st to the 8th to the 15th, and there's a lot of them in those 2 weeks. Yes, it's going to be crazy.
It's going to be pretty intense in the Bernieverse for sure.
Yes.
Okay. So.
We're ready, folks. You ready for that video?
Yeah.
Go for it.
All right.
Here we go.
I'm at the beginning of this video. I have a red coat on, if you can spot me. Probably not.
Impressed with that, considering we had like no notice at all. How much notice did you guys have for this?
I didn't hear about it except maybe 2 or 3 days ahead of time, and I saw it on the Bernie TV Slack, and other people I talked to there had heard about it with less than 24-hour notice. So a couple of Detroit stations had announced it like the day before.
Okay.
So they came with that short of notice, had to get off work, get out of school, get a babysitter, and stood out in the cold.
Did people come from like far away, or was it mostly in the immediate area?
I would say mostly southeastern Michigan, and of course I came from Northwest Ohio with my Northwest Ohio sign, but within 100 miles of that area. I talked to a girl who was originally from Cleveland, but I think she's at school at UM, she said.
Okay.
There are 2 good-sized colleges there, but it wasn't just college students. It was townies. It was working people. It was people of all ages, races, creeds. And the Hare Krishnas there, too, who gave out the ginger drinks. They were great entertainment, I'll have to say. I was glad they were wearing shoes and not sandals like I've seen.
Right? Oh, my gosh, yeah.
But they were dancing and singing and chanting. But, yes, amazing how many people were there without hats and adequate clothing.
Oh, my gosh. Yeah, I mean, growing up in Vermont, it's no joke. The winter, you can't be out there, especially standing still. You can't be standing still outside.
A little bit of a breeze too, and it was damp.
And the line's still going.
Yeah. It's still going. It goes down to Huron River Drive, which is about a mile away from the EMU Convocation Hall, because we had to drive that way to get back out to the highway.
Glad they didn't run out of sidewalk.
Yeah, I mean, someone said they could be in downtown Ypsilanti with under 2 miles, so maybe they could have been inside some places there. But yeah,
all right, everybody, we're getting
good try.
Hey guys, we're getting reports that Bernie is live.
All right.
Okay.
All right, so MSNBC, I guess I hadn't buffered, so we're going to cut out of this. I'll go to comments. Here, let's come out of this. Sorry about that, folks. There we go. Am I still out of sync? I probably am. Anyway, stop this video here. We're going to cut to the meta debate. If Scott jumps in and tells me that he's got some live footage from elsewhere, we'll bring it on. Otherwise, watch it on your own systems. Watch it on the web. Somebody posted a link to see it scraped on some site. Watch it there. Unfortunately, we can't bring it to you because political speech is not owned by the people anymore. It's owned by establishment corporations. So we'll see you guys after the meta debate or during the dinner, whichever comes first.
We are going to jump into our afterburn now that Bernie's done. I'm Alice in Savannah, Georgia, and I'm here with Cindy in, oh my gosh, Ohio, Northwest Ohio. Where I really need to go. I'm sorry. It's like in a whole other country, basically, from the East Coast.
It is. It is. It's a tourist mecca, I'll tell you, at least in summer.
All right, so yeah, they covered a lot of ground in that debate. I have a big page of notes that I took. I am trying to figure out where to start. I think, well, we were just talking about the answer to the what is democratic socialism question, and I think we all pretty much agreed that he killed it on that answer, so that was awesome.
Yeah.
I thought it was pretty interesting that Bernie has to, people are constantly like, communists. I mean, we were phone banking today, and somebody, we called somebody, and I was in the room listening to the girl calling, and the guy was like, a vote for Bernie is a vote for Joseph Stalin, and he kept going on and on along this line of thinking, and it was just like, no, okay, never mind, click. It was really too bad. The guy just didn't want to have a conversation, obviously, but it just shows like the amount of misinformation.
It's misinformation, yes. I was really impressed that they brought up Chavez and Castro.
Yeah, because that
Latino audience would bring up a lot of fear, because a lot of these people probably came from Venezuela or Cuba originally, and that might bring up a lot of bad memories. So I thought that was a very calculated question on the democratic socialism. But I think Bernie really nails it because he goes back to the facts.
Yeah,
he doesn't let them pull him off topic.
It was basically the moderators going up and being like, "You're a communist." That was basically what they told him, and he was like, "Well, actually, let me, and it's just like, I know you probably have to do this. I have to do this all the time. No, it's not the same as communism. Democratic socialism is still democracy. It's just democracy that helps people."
Right.
And you're just like, really, again? Okay.
We've been doing it for like 9 months now. Yes. You think people would catch on, but they're not. I guess because we're getting so many new people new to Bernie in the last 2 weeks since Iowa that they really don't know about the democratic socialism thing. We're going to have to repeat ourselves all over again on that topic constantly.
It's also interesting that they're getting to that they're getting to that question. They're coming to the table like, this is my sticking point. They're like, oh, I've heard of his ideas, and they seem okay. They seem interesting. So that's the mythology is starting to be dispelled a little bit, I think. So
I think slowly but surely Bernie's going to get it out there that he's not Joseph Stalin.
Yeah.
Or also the other thing you hear sometimes from people that he's a Nazi like Adolf Hitler. That one freaks me out.
Okay, I'm going to tell you a really, really quick story about that. So I used to live with the Republican girl when I lived in Charleston. She was a Tea Partier, so that we got drunk a lot together.
Oh, wow.
She was like, you're the first Democrat I know that isn't just like a lip service Democrat. You're not faking it. You're not just doing it just because to be a sheep. So that, she, thanks. My boyfriend is bringing me dinner. Thank you. And where was I? We got drunk a lot, and we had to kind of, we respected each other's intelligence. So we came to the conversation being like, okay, you're not an idiot. You've come to this decision to be this political alignment for a reason, and so have you. We just chose the opposite direction. So let's talk about this. How did you get there? And we were really able to like zoom out about why and talk about like, so do you trust people? Do you believe in helping people? Who do you think should help people? Why don't you trust the government? And we were able to have those really big discussions in a really kind of productive way. Like we did get to a point where we had a conversation like, you trust people, I don't. And that's the difference. She didn't trust the public. She didn't trust that people wouldn't abuse the system, and I did. So
I think that was a very good conversation that you got down to the brass tacks.
Yeah, well, and that I learned a lot from living with her. And I mean, I'm a northerner. I grew up in Vermont, so obviously, I'm a little bit of a lefty. But, coming to the South, I first learned I lived in the Northeast for years, and then I lived in the UK, so it was just great. Everybody agreed with me. It was wonderful. But I came to the South, and not everybody agreed with me, so I had to like shut up. I mean, not that I, had to shut up really, but I had to listen. I had to just figure out how to respect ideas that I thought were ridiculous, which was really hard to do. But I feel like you have to show up at the table being like, okay, you've made this choice for a reason. Tell me what that reason is. So.
You did good. I think you've done better than I have with people.
Oh, thanks.
I have a different background. I came from being a lefty from the South and having lived in the Midwest and the West, and always being around other people who were a lot more right-wing than I was, and never quite being able to tell them why I felt the way I did, and being told to shut up, basically. So I just kept quiet because it was just that much easier to keep the peace by just
that's
biting
not
my
a good environment.
No, it doesn't make you feel good about yourself, and it certainly doesn't help your stress levels. So, if you can have an intelligent discussion on it, that's great.
I think in the interest of having like a productive dialogue, okay, so this is, I'm going to dive into my little rant here. I just did the preview, my rant preview. I have a little segment here planned called What Would Bernie Do? And it's with reference to a lot of Hillary haterade that's going around. I had a little bit of an experience with the Hillary haterade, and it made me, given the context of like I live in the South, I try to be respectful of other people's views, even if I completely think they're ridiculous. And I went to the Savannah now has a Hillary supporter Facebook page. So that was, kind of. I was like, oh, they finally arrived. Okay, they finally.
Did you seek out the Hillary page, or did it just show up one day?
I went and looked for it because they were having an event. They're having an event on the same day in the same place that we are. We're gonna we're all gonna work it out. It's gonna be fine. It's not a big deal.
This will be interesting.
Hey guys.
Yeah, no, it's gonna be fine. We're not staying there. We're doing a march. It's the march, not this weekend, but the following weekend. But they're having an event also in the park where we're starting the march. So I was like, oh, well, okay, there's the group. And I went to look at it, and I was like, okay, I wonder what they think about Hillary. Tell me, what's so great about her. They must have, some good things to say about her because they're supporting her. And a lot of the comments that I saw on the page were very anti-Bernie instead. And as someone who was curious, not that I'm going to shift my alignment or anything. I mean, I like this poor Bernie for a bajillion reasons, and I'm solid on that. I'm comfortable in that identity. But I was like, okay, so why do they like her? They've arrived at that decision for a reason. So let me go check it out. And they basically were spending a whole bunch of time telling me why I was an idiot for supporting Bernie. And that made me really uncomfortable, and it made me just not want to deal with Hillary supporters. And that, I was like, and I've seen that from Bernie supporters too. And I think it's really important to consider your rhetoric and consider, like, if somebody, an intelligent person sat down and was supporting the other candidate, how you would explain yourself. I just, not to tone police anybody, anger is legit, like, totally legit. Like, I am angry about a lot of things that are happening in this country. But in order to make yourself accessible, I feel like it's important to be like, all right, tell me why. So there's my rant.
I apologize. I didn't realize you were actually going into your rant. I thought you were setting up your rant.
Sorry.
Cindy, could you please mute for a second? Cindy, I need to make an announcement.
Okay.
Thank you. Sorry about that. I really thought you were gonna just give us a tease of that. I didn't realize you were gonna haul off all the way, or I wouldn't have been.
Oh no, I'm so sorry about that. No, I'm done now.
Feel free to go off on it again. I thought it was really good, and it was a good testimony. I just want to let everybody know what's going on, because everybody's dropping off really fast. And that was kind of why I wanted to jump in.
Right on.
So listen, everybody. Scott's at the dinner right now. Bernie was whisked off the stage with no clothes. As we saw, and they're bringing him to this dinner. The dinner, they didn't show Hillary, so they're not gonna. This watch party was not to carry on the whole thing. They just wanted to see Bernie, and so we should have him speaking with Scott having access to this live feed very shortly. We're just waiting for, yeah, they've started. Local politicians are speaking. So I may pull up this feed and we'll go from there, guys. So if you want to keep talking, wrap up your conversation, let me pull this up.
Sure.
We should have Bernie at a dinner party. And
Awesome.
there you go. Yeah.
Maybe this is going to be like his Goldman Sachs speech, guys. We're going to get the inside
I would
intro.
love to have Bernie at a dinner party. I just see Bernie as not a champagne guy, but a guy that would have a beer with you and sit down and eat some pizza and subs and stuff. Yeah, my idea of a Bernie dinner party would not be a Hillary dinner party.
No, well, I mean, I've seen a couple of interviews with him and Jane in their house in Vermont, and they just seem like totally normal people.
Normal,
they have their big family and whatnot. So yeah, no, I think
you'd have a barbecue with Bernie. Yeah,
exactly.
Good barbecue in your backyard on a summer's day with Bernie.
Exactly.
Yeah. I did like your rant, though. I was going to say I had a run-in with a Hillary supporter the other day, but it took me by surprise because they were more of a fair weather Bernie supporter, and I think those really throw me in person. Now, online, a troll I can deal with. I'll read what they say and I can ignore it or respond with a measured response and edit it and make it sound good. But when you're in person and they start to tell you you're stupid because Bernie can't possibly win the nomination, even though they do love Bernie. He's such a nice person, right? But blah, blah, blah. But Hillary's going to be the nominee. You better get on board and vote for her. And you say, no, I don't think I will vote for Hillary. If Bernie doesn't get the Democratic nod, I will write him in. Well, I was told that was stupid. How would you react? And how would you deal with that? I didn't do very well.
Is that you get to choose who you vote for. You don't have to vote for anybody.
That's what I told them. I said, you're fine. You go ahead and vote for Hillary, but I will either write Bernie in or vote Green or think about voting a different way or not voting at all in that category. But I was told I was wasting my vote if I voted for Bernie. I said, well, why are you here at a Bernie phone banking event? That's what took me very badly there. Yeah, it's very unusual, but I guess this is my first time to come against this, and probably some of our chatters have come across these people before. But this was unusual. So lately, it's been interesting. These last couple of weeks since Iowa and New Hampshire, people are coming out of the woodwork, and we're starting to see a lot of different types of Bernie supporters, possibly, that I haven't come across until now. And that might be one of them. The fair weather friend, I call it. They love Bernie, but he can't possibly win in November. Okay, so why are you here, or why are you saying you love Bernie?
Right.
Go vote Hillary. Go vote Trump.
Well, yeah.
What are you doing? I just kind of wondered. These people surprised me with their response, and then they told me, I was stupid and wasteful. That's just hitting my hot buttons right there. So I told them,
well, that's not appropriate for them to frame it that way. I mean, if I were gonna say that to somebody, I would say like, well, do you feel like that would help the Republicans? I mean, are you willing to, stand up for your own individuality in order to, which is more important, your autonomy or, not a Republican? So,
well, I think that was it. I was going to let Trump or the Republican win. My husband, who's from Britain, says some people will vote for a pig if it had the right colored rosette on it. You know what that means. They're in the right party. So it didn't make a difference who's got the rosette on, a pig, a human being, whatever. They'll vote for it because it's a Democrat. It's a Republican. And I've always been an independent, so that doesn't appeal to me at all. I look at the person and their character
I
and
think your mic
trustworthiness.
Is trying to misbehave, Cindy.
Yeah, it's like I'm not going to vote for people just because you told me they're a Democrat and I have to. It's just not going to work. That gets me very independent-minded and saying, no way. So I'm afraid the DNC this year has not made me into a Democrat yet.
They've
definitely
highlighted a lot of tensions within the party, and I thought that third-party question actually was pretty interesting, and that it came from a young person. That was really cool.
Yes, I'm glad that young people understand that our political system was never set up to be just two parties, or really any political parties whatsoever. They just came about. And so this idea that we're not like other countries that have 3, 4, 6 18 whatever parties. Some European countries have about, what, a dozen? I can't keep
Right,
track.
a few more.
Yeah, we are very bizarre in this idea with 2 parties. Even Canada has 3 or 4
So
major parties.
can I cut you off for 1 second and check in with Eddie?
Where's Eddie?
Oh, he's putting his headphones on. Hold on 1 second, guys.
We
Sorry,
cut Eddie. I'm
guys.
sorry.
That's okay.
Yeah.
So apparently we had a little bit of an audience drop off, but we are still hoping that we're gonna catch Bernie at this dinner. So hold on, guys. We're working on it.
It's
So
my
let's-
bad. Yeah, Alice, really quick. That's my bad, guys. We're fine. Scott was not live right now. It's all local people, I guess, just talking. So just keep going. As soon as Bernie gets there, they're expecting Bernie to be there very shortly. And as soon as he shows up, he'll come on and we'll bring that feed to you as soon as Scott goes live. So.
All right, outstanding. Thank you. So what's the report from the chat, Eddie?
All right. So far there are no questions since we came back. We're during our time. Right now, chat, they're talking about Hillary Clinton's talk during the town hall.
She's on now, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah.
So Eddie, I actually have a question for you.
Sure.
So we were talking about how we approach people of differing political views. As someone of a younger demographic, how do you approach people of who support other candidates? I mean, obviously you're on board for Bernie. Would you say most people are, or do you encounter like some
There's some splits.
Yeah.
There's splits. There's obviously some. There's obviously alternatives. There's always like different parties. That's how it should be.
Right.
There should be opinions.
Absolutely.
There should always be opinions. There should always be like people with different ideals and different thoughts.
Do you feel like you are able to discuss it with your peers without being? I mean, I don't know. I don't know if Cindy, if you feel this way.
Shut down.
Yeah, exactly. But I feel like if someone is like, oh, I'm a Trump supporter, then there's just like there's a very it's very difficult to navigate around that brick wall to have a productive conversation.
There's sort of
there
is sort of that awkwardness when it comes to it. I'm sorry, I'm gonna fix my camera. Sorry about that, guys.
That's okay.
It's really uncomfortable to do this. Yeah, to be honest, I have come across a Trump supporter. I won't deny it. I've done it during phone banking. The person was way calmer than I anticipated. And I've met for some reason some Trump supporters that were students that are Hispanic. So that are Latino. I'm just like, wait, why? And then so we continued talking. Then we started getting into the religious aspect of his thoughts. I'm just like, I don't know. I'll just say it right now. I'm sort of like a closeted agnostic. Let's just keep it as that. Yeah.
Okay.
I've lost my support. It's like, because Muslims are the reason for all this. I'm just like, wait. So why did you just factor out like the Christian that that probably created a mass shooting? Why did you just factor out the Buddhist that did this? Why did you just factor out like a whole separate group, but you just pointed at those people that just came on Fox News?
Oop, what's going on?
Tuesday, November 5th, 2004.
Oh, am I hearing Hillary somewhere?
Oh, yeah, I'm hearing Hillary somewhere.
That's not Hillary, guys. That's actually somebody
Another
local.
person.
That's a
good.
local
Is that Scott?
politician at the dinner. Yeah. So we could ask the audience. Scott said he'd go live. We're welcome to cut to that. If you guys want to cut to hear her, I don't know who this person is. Or you guys can keep talking. Let us know in comments, everybody.
Okay, yeah, let us know, audience. We have a man on the ground. It's great. Go, Scott. Thank you, Scott.
All right. So back to this a little bit. Yeah. So I have thought about that. I've told people many of that, and I've been honest. I'm Latin. I'm a Latino. I'm Puerto Rican. I'm Ecuadorian. And I'm Croatian. So there is a part of white in me. So there's obviously going to be different parts, different thoughts, different things. But still, you shouldn't just go because of one, just for like one issue. Because that's sort of stereotyping.
I actually
it
have you
screws up the
seen
whole
the ad?
vote.
Have you seen the ad that that Hillary did recently about
Yes.
Bernie being the one-issue candidate?
Yeah.
Bernie, the
said,
one-issue candidate. I love it. It's stupid.
So I'm pretty sure that we all agree here that Bernie is a little bit more complicated than that. And one of my favorite things about him is that he interweaves all the issues so well. I really appreciate that. So
Yeah, Bernie's not a one-issue candidate, but that one little ad for Hillary trying to peg him as one is hysterical because he's so multi-issued. It's just impossible to say, oh, he's always talking about Wall Street. But you know what, Hillary? A lot of that problem is Citizen United and the Wall Street banksters. So yeah, they do tie together. So not a very good ad for Hillary there.
no.
They missed the point, I guess. I think that's why she's not doing so well. They keep missing the point, and they just don't get it. They don't know where the average American's at, and they just can't reach them.
Yeah.
All the money in the world will not buy the vote.
I have
What's
an
up,
update,
John?
folks, from Scott, who says the cameraman next to him, who's with the Showtime show The Circus, I'm not familiar with it, says that Bernie just pulled in. So we should have him soon after the Secret Service scours the entire building or whatever they do. Let's make him.
Oh, I saw the Secret Service on Monday. They are really fascinating individuals. I've never seen them up close and at work before, but
there was
they're
none.
rather fascinating.
It was before he had Secret Service,
Right.
so
That's
there was
why I
nothing.
wish I had gone to a Bernie rally before the Secret Service. They are so polished and put together and well policed now. So I don't think they're quite as spontaneous as they used to be.
Yeah, interesting.
So
yeah,
that's
did
kind
you
of the
did he go
downside
out
of
and
it.
shake hands and stuff at your rally?
I could not see. He comes in and they kind of keep a corridor on him. That's why we couldn't tell he was really in the arena. And then at the end, boom, he's out of there almost. Because I kept looking for him. And I think back in the summer, he was shaking hands in LA, at Portland, and the different places. He was taking selfies. I did not see anything of that in Ypsilanti. Of course, he went on to speak down the road at Dearborn, I think an hour or two later. But he would have had plenty of time because those towns are touching. So it wasn't a time factor. It is the Secret Service. They literally surround him and they surround the crowd in the mosh pit in the beginning. They're going to spread out and everything, and they get closer to the stage as he comes up there. You should see those guys. They're just kind of like bored right out watching everybody. And so
now you're making me think of
it's different.
Underwood. You're making me think of Frank Underwood being followed around by security guards all the time. So I'm like, Frank Underwood.
It's a little bit different, I'll have to say. So I wish I could see him in a more relaxed setting. I wish I had seen him in Cleveland back in November now, because I think that was prior to a Secret Service thing. But we had police agencies of all sorts there. So if you ever want to feel safe, go to a Bernie rally.
Right. Well, the funny thing is, like, I guarantee that he's the same. That he says the same stuff, even though he's interacting with people. It goes out in a different way.
We had a lot of fun with him. He says huge, and we all echoed huge, and we had a laugh. We had an orange balloon toss going around, and the Secret Service put an end to the orange balloon toss real quick. I think it ended up in the top tiers. So, it's not as spontaneous anymore, I'm afraid. But he does make it more personalized now. I think he's a lot more relaxed talking to these large crowds than he was.
Yeah, he's had a little bit of practice now.
Yeah, he really does. I think he's really genuine when he's up there, too. I think that's why people relate to him so well. He does sound like he's crying. His voice is cracking when he was talking about Flint. I don't think that was fake. I think he really was upset. He had just come there an hour before. I think it was really on his heart. It weighed heavily on him.
Hey,
ladies.
Amazing.
We have an update.
We're gonna switch over to the feed now. Apparently Bernie is there. Scott doesn't even have time to change out his audio settings. He was gonna flip over to something different. I don't know who the gentleman is talking. He's probably doing some kind of introduction. I'm just gonna crank it up. We're gonna go.
All right, awesome.
Bernie should be up shortly.
Yeah, Bernie.
All right, actually, sorry. My bad. I don't even have it framed. I know.
Who's this production team? God.
I know. So, fire them all. Really. All right, here we go, folks. Somebody introducing something, talking about Bernie at this dinner.
What we're going to do. I want to do a little bit of a test with you all as we wait. And again, let's keep this friendly. Let's remember that for the sake of unity, we are all going to rally around whichever Democratic nominee wins. But by a show of applause, who in here is feeling the burn? All right. Now, who in here is ready to shatter that glass ceiling? Who's with her? Our Clark County chairman can't decide, and he's undecided, so we need to convince him. Who's with him? I meant Bernie. Who's with Bernie? And who's standing with Hillary Clinton on Saturday? It's going to be a tough call. Well, listen, I want you all to continue enjoying your dinner or dessert. We will be back up in a few minutes. In the meantime, enjoy, mingle, but remember, stay close to your tables because, again, we have a very special guest that's in the building and will be with us momentarily. Enjoy.
Of hoops that I had to jump as a 24-year-old Hispanic were just unprecedented, so thank you for that.
And I'm telling you, if you were not a Hispanic, you would not have had as many hoops. That has to end. It's not right and fair to you.
Okay. Thank you very much. Secretary Clinton, Gustavo Ramos is retired, and he
Apologies, everybody. Apparently what they did there was stop that and cut right back to the debate where Hillary Clinton is talking, and we certainly can't yeah, I got to cut out of that. Oops, my bad. Let's cut to something else here. We can't show that. We certainly can't show that. That'll get this channel shut down. That is owned by corporations. That broadcast is owned. It's political speech. It's a debate. According to the First Amendment, political speech is the most protected speech in the United States of America, except when it's owned by corporations. This broadcast should be publicly accessible. This should be broadcast by PBS. All debates should be broadcast by PBS. This is one of the reasons why I continue to fight.
Right.
This is one of the reasons why, I mean, this is the reason why we do what's called a meta debate. There's no reason why we shouldn't be able to carry this stream. And I guarantee you, folks, that tomorrow, when you try to find this, you won't find the entirety of it. It'll be chopped up. It'll be edited. It'll be cut into small pieces. The context will be broken up into parts. This is what I fight. So anybody who wants to know why we get shut down and keeps telling me that my copyright infringement is just, you know, silly and I'm being a dumbass, it's against the law for these companies to own political speech. It's wrong. It's a violation of the First Amendment. I'm going to fight that and do everything I can to take it to the Supreme Court, get it changed. And the 1996 Telecommunications Act is the reason why.
Right.
So I do these broadcasts in protest. I do meta debate in protest. I will continue to fight because it's absolute bullshit that we do not have unobstructed, clear access to all political content. All of it belongs to the people. So hopefully they'll kick out of this and we'll be able to go to Bernie. They're just waiting for him to show up. But I couldn't risk channel shutdown.
And I'm out of talking points, so.
Well, that's why I've just got this up. I'm just going to put, I apologize, folks. I'm just going to
We can rant at random, no. I was going to say the corporations own political speech and the corporations own Hillary. Is there a connection there, we wonder?
I should point out that, mute, Cindy.
Yeah, I'll mute.
Since I think it was Iowa, Bernie's gotten more media coverage, mainstream media coverage than any other candidate. And I, of course, did not put a link to the source for that in the rundown, but I'm sure it's available via Google. So, but I thought that was pretty cool. You know, it's like a total flip from before.
Yep.
When nobody cared, he was totally marginalized, and now he's legit, in spite of them.
Absolutely. It's here. We'll show you what's going on. It's a little choppy over there, folks. But dude's back. All right, here we go.
Here we go.
Take your seats. I know we Democrats are very appreciate it, but I want to make sure that everyone gets the recognition. From Assembly District 5, we have our newly endorsed candidates, Rory Martinez. I missed everyone's favorite Senator Tick Sagerbloom. Nicole Canizero from Senate District 6. Devin Reese from Senate District 15, right back there. And then we have Alexander Marks. Where is Alexander Marks? I believe you're at Senate District 12, but I'm not 100% sure. Let's give them a round of applause. All right. Now, please help me welcome back to the stage the person who has been responsible for getting us all into this room and to celebrate our love and our compassion as Democrats. Please help me welcome the chairman of the Clark County Democratic Party, Chris Miller.
Thank you, Nelson. Give Nelson a round of applause. He's doing a great job, isn't he? It is my pleasure to introduce a man who has fought for equality and fairness his entire life. Someone who has stood up for the working class, fought for pay equity and a living wage, and made people, not corporations and big money, his top priority. Please join me in welcoming our featured speaker. Give him a big Clark County Democratic Party welcome, Senator Bernie Sanders.
Thank you.
Okay, I'm gonna go
Thank you. Thank you. Well, thank you. Well, thank you. Thank you all very much. And let me begin by thanking every person in this room, no matter who they may be. What you do. So I just want to begin by thanking all of you. What you do. So I just want to begin by thanking all of you for your efforts. Let me also thank you for sending to the United States Senate a man who is a very good friend of mine, somebody I have worked with over the last 9 years. I also thank you for sending to the United States Senate a man who is a very good friend of mine, somebody I have worked with over the last 9 years, somebody who has done enormously important work for your beautiful state and for the American people. Harry Reid will be missed very, very much. As all of you can imagine, it is not easy being the leader of Senate Democrats. In fact, it is hard to imagine why anybody would want that job. But Harry accepted it, and I think what is really remarkable about the man you sent to Washington, the man from Searchlight, is that you will not find one Democrat, not the most progressive, which I may well be, or the most conservative, have anything bad to say about Harry, because he is a man of his word, and he is enormously respected by the Democratic caucus. So thank you all very much for sending Harry Reid to Washington. Let me also thank the Black Caucus of Clark County for their support and their endorsement today. I appreciate that very much. Thank you, guys. When we began this campaign 9 months or so ago, the media noted that I had a presidential hairdo and that my clothes were GQ style. But other than that, they really didn't think that our campaign would go very far. Well, it turned out that they were wrong. In the last 9 months, we have made some enormous gains. When we began this campaign, we were about 3 or 4% in the polls nationally. That is not the case today. When we began our campaign, we were 50 points behind in Iowa. Didn't end up that way. And we were 30 points down in New Hampshire. Didn't end up that way. And we were 30 or 40 points down here in Nevada. And I don't think it's going to end up that way on Saturday. And let me say something that I think most candidates would not say. We live at a time when Republican governors all over this country are doing their hardest, working overtime, trying to suppress the vote. Now, I happen to believe in democracy, and I happen to think that it is a great thing that people participate, and I believe that we have got to do everything we can to get more people to participate, not fewer people. So I hope that on Saturday, when the eyes of America will be on Nevada, I hope very much that no matter which candidate people are supporting, I hope they come out in large numbers. All of you know that men and women put their lives on the line to defend American democracy. We owe them the understanding that democracy is not a spectator sport. It is a participatory effort. I hope as many people as possible come out, and Nevada shows this country what democracy is about with a very large turnout. When we began our campaign, what we learned from the start is that sadly but truthfully, it takes a lot of money to run for President of the United States. Any of you thinking about it, let me tell you, it takes a lot of money. I mean, we're talking hundreds of millions, if not billions or more. And one of the initial problems that we faced is how do you run a winning national campaign and raise the money that you need? And what we were told from day one is the only way you can raise the kinds of money that you need is to get a super PAC. Go out to millionaires and billionaires and corporations and Wall Street and beg them for campaign contributions. Well, we agree with that sentiment. We chose not to do it that way. And I'm damn proud of that. I do not represent, in case you don't know it, I do not represent the billionaire class. I do not represent Sheldon Adelson. I do not represent Wall Street or corporate America. And we made a very quick decision. No, we are not going to have a super PAC, but we will ask the middle class and working families of this country for the help that they might be able to provide us. And over a 9-month period, something happened that in a million years, honest to God, I never thought could possibly happen. And that is that as of today, our campaign has received over 3.5 million individual campaign contributions. Now, when you have a super PAC, you go to a fancy place and you leave with a few $1,000,000. What we ended up achieving is that our average campaign contribution is $27. I'm pretty proud of that. Which takes me to what I think is clearly one of the major issues facing our country today. And let me lay it on the table. And I think one of the reasons our campaign has been successful is we are honest with the American people and we are prepared to talk about unpleasant truths, issues that we wish were not reality, but in fact are reality. So let me not be the first person to tell you what you already know. And that is that in this country today, we have a corrupt campaign finance system which is undermining American democracy. Now, I had to tell the people of Iowa a while back that they thought they were holding the first caucus in the presidential selection process. And I had to tell them that wasn't true, that actually the first caucus was held many, many, many months ago here in Las Vegas. It was the Sheldon Adelson caucus. And this is the corruption of American democracy. That some guy who just because he's worth whatever, 10, 20, 40 billion dollars, summons Republican candidates to his office and he says, all right, tell me, what are you going to do for me in order to get the tens of millions of dollars I'm prepared to give you? My friends, this is not democracy, this is oligarchy, and that is why we are going to overturn Citizens United. And why we are going to get rid of super PACs once and for all. Number two, it's not just that we have a corrupt campaign finance system, we have a rigged economy. A rigged economy. And what that means is that people in Nevada, working people in Vermont, and all over this country are working longer hours for lower wages. What it means is that despite a huge increase in technology and worker productivity, despite the fact that millions of our people are working 2 or 3 jobs, 58% of all new income is going to the top 1%. And let me tell you about a rigged economy. My Republican colleagues worry very much about welfare abuse, about poor people ripping off the welfare system. Well, let me tell you what you probably already know, is that it turns out that the largest recipient of welfare in America happens to be the Walton family, the wealthiest family in America. What does that mean? It means that the wages that they pay their workers are so low that many of their employees are forced to go on Medicaid, food stamps, and subsidized housing. And you know who pays for that Medicaid, food stamps, and subsidized housing? You do. So on behalf of the Walton family, who are worth about $60 billion, I want to thank you for helping them. They are very appreciative of it. Well, I'm not appreciative. And I think it's time that the Walton family and other low-wage employers get off of welfare and start paying their workers a living wage. But whether or not they wish to, we are going to help them do the right thing by raising the minimum wage to $15 an hour over the next few years. And what we're also going to do is end this outrageous discrimination against women workers. We're going to have pay equity for women workers. And when we talk about the issues facing America, everybody in this room knows that we need the best educated workforce in the world if we are going to survive economically in a very competitive global economy. Public education has served this country very, very well for well over 100 years. And what public education has historically meant is free education from the first grade through the 12th grade. Well, the world has changed. And in many ways, in 2016, a college degree is the equivalent of what a high school degree was 50 or 60 years ago. It is time for us to acknowledge that when we talk about public education today, we must be talking about making public colleges and universities tuition free. And we must also address the outrageous level of student debt that millions of young people and not so young people are currently carrying. The legislation that I have introduced does both. And as president, that's what I will fight for. Substantially lowering student debt and making public colleges and tuition and universities tuition free. Now, I have been criticized for thinking too big an idea. Well, Bernie, how are you going to pay for that idea? And let me tell you how I will pay for it. I don't have to tell anybody in Nevada what the greed, recklessness, and illegal behavior of Wall Street has done to this country. People of Nevada were on the front lines and probably suffered more than the people in any other state. Well, after Wall Street's greed and illegal behavior drove this country into the worst recession since the 1930s, the Congress bailed them out. Now, in my view, we need to impose a tax on Wall Street speculation because now it is Wall Street's time to help the middle class. My Republican colleagues are running all over this country talking about family values, how much they love families. Everybody in this room understands what they are really talking about. And what they are really talking about is telling every woman in this room, in this state, in this country that she does not have the right to control her own body? I disagree. And what they are telling our gay brothers and sisters is that they do not have the right to get married. I disagree. And when we talk about the issues facing this country, let me tell you, as someone who is a member of the Senate Environmental Committee and Energy Committee, climate change is real. It is caused by human activity. It is already doing devastating harm to our country and the rest of the world. And I must tell you, not that I want to intrude on Nevada politics here, but it is beyond my comprehension how your PUC can make it harder Here you are, and by the way, in this regard, we in Vermont envy you. You got a lot more sunshine than we do. Why are you not utilizing solar energy to the greatest degree possible? Why are we not making it easier for people to have solar panels, not harder? Well, you and I know why, and that is the fossil fuel industry and their political representatives are more concerned about short-term profits for the fossil fuel industry than they are about the future well-being of this planet. As President of the United States, I will stand up to the fossil fuel industry. We will transform our energy system away from fossil fuel to energy efficiency and such sustainable energies as solar and wind. Let me also touch on an issue that I know that all of you are very familiar with, and that is that in our country today, we have some 11 million undocumented people, men, women, and children, overwhelming majority who came into this country looking for a better life, fleeing dire poverty, fleeing violence. In my strong view, Congress must move forward toward comprehensive immigration reform and a path toward citizenship for undocumented people. While I understand that there are people who have differences of opinion with me about immigration reform, there is no justification, no reason for people to resort to bigotry and xenophobia and racial hatred when we are talking about Mexicans or when we are talking about Muslims. People can disagree about immigration reforms, but in the year 2016, we will not allow the Trumps and others of this world to divide us up and to appeal to racism, which has done this country so much harm for so many years. Earlier this afternoon, here in Las Vegas, I was on a picket line with a number of union members who are fighting to make sure that they can continue to have affordable health care. Now, I am a member of the committee that helped write the Affordable Care Act. And the Affordable Care Act has clearly done a lot of very important things in this country. Affordable Care Act has done away with this private insurance company obscenity called pre-existing conditions. And mark my words, someday, 10 years from now, 20 years from now, your kids, your grandchildren are going to look back and say, how did this thing ever be allowed to exist? To deny insurance for those conditions you most need insurance for. What an insane idea. All right, it's gone. We have increased insurance, provided insurance for another 17 to 18 million Americans. That's a good thing. We have also done away with discrimination in premiums for people who happen to be women. Didn't seem to be very sensible that women had to pay higher premiums because they were women. We've done away with that. But where we are today is that 29 million Americans still have no health insurance. Many of you and millions of Americans are underinsured with high deductibles and high copayments. Is that true? All right. And we pay by far the highest prices in the world for prescription drugs. Prices that are so outrageously high that 1 out of 5 Americans cannot afford to fill the prescriptions their doctors write. You know what? That's crazy. Because if you go to the doctor and you get a prescription, what is the sense of going to the doctor if you can't fill that prescription? You get sicker, is what you do. You end up in the hospital. So I think that at a time when, as a nation, we are spending much, much more per capita than do the people of any other major country, all of whom provide health care to all as a right. That is my view. Now, I've been criticized for saying it, but I don't mind being criticized, so I'll say it again. I believe that health care is a right of all people, not a privilege. And I will, as president, do my best to move this country toward a Medicare for all single-payer program. All right, let me conclude by saying this and telling you again something that no candidate for president will tell you. And that is that no president, not Bernie Sanders, not anybody else, can solve the very serious problems facing our country alone. So if you think just electing Bernie Sanders or somebody else to the White House and you can go home, turn on the TV and not worry about things because you got your person in the White House, if that's what you think, sorry to have to inform you, you're wrong. The truth of the matter is that the people who control our economy, the people who control our political life, are so powerful, and I'm talking about Wall Street, which has an endless supply of money, endless. Talking about corporate America, whose greed has done such harm to the middle class of this country, who would move abroad, move to China if they could make $5 more than they're making right now. I'm talking about a corporate media that will tell you everything you want to know about everything except what is most important to the American people. And we're talking maybe most significantly about these huge campaign donors, Koch brothers, Wall Street on down, who will spend many, many hundreds of millions of dollars in this campaign to elect the candidates they want. That's the truth. And the antidote to that reality is that we have got to do now what Americans have always done in crisis. whether it is workers trying to stand up and form a union, whether it is blacks and their white allies fighting for civil rights, whether it is women and their male allies saying, no, women will not be second-class citizens in this country, whether it is the gay community and their straight allies saying that in America, people will have the right to love anyone they want. All of those important changes and others, they didn't come from the top on down. They didn't come because some president decided to do something good. They came from the bottom on up. That is how change always takes place. So what our campaign is about, what it is entitled, it's not just electing Bernie Sanders, although I think that would be a good idea. It is more than that. It is calling for a political revolution. It is stating that real change will not occur until millions of Americans, many of whom, for quite rational reasons, have turned their backs and given up on the political process. They look at what goes on in Washington and they say, why would I possibly want to vote? And they don't. And young people who say, politics, give me a break. Why would I want to get involved in something as sordid as that? And what our job is to bring people together, young and old, black and white and Latino, to bring millions of people into the political process who today are not in that process. And that's what this campaign is doing. You should see some of the huge turnouts that we've had all over this country. Working people, young people, who are saying, you know what, as a nation, we can do a lot better than we're currently doing. So what this campaign is about is bringing people together and stating very loudly and clearly that the government of the United States of America belongs to all of us, not just a handful of wealthy campaign contributors. Thank you all very much.
Hey guys, welcome back to Afterburn Round 2. We just can't stop tonight, apparently. So that was Bernie after the forum at a dinner, a Democrat dinner, and so Cindy, I thought that was pretty cool to see him in a non-debate environment. I always like it when he gets to kind of let his hair down just a little bit. I mean, not too much there, but a little bit different than the usual speech. So, I don't know. Did anything in particular stick out to you? I'm processing still. So, anything new for you?
Unmute, Sydney.
Oh, uh-oh. No audio. Technical difficulties. 1 second.
We have Eddie in here. You can ask me. You can. I'm here.
So John, what did you think? Your audio is kind of low too.
Well, I can fix it.
Okay.
I can crank myself up. No problem. We got extra knobs. Well, Cindy figures out what's going on there. She's that's
sorry, I had to.
That's quite all right. It's late here. We've been doing this a while. So, Cindy, we still don't have audio. I would leave the Hangout and come back in and see what happens there. But anyway, where were you? But just before you take in there, I just want to say we've got more than 200 people watching. So hi, 200 people. Thank you. Thank you for sticking with us. We knew we had a little bit of a strange things going on there, but Scott was able to bring us that feed, and obviously he's going to cut. I don't know if Hillary's going to show up there or whatnot, but what were you talking about? I was busy switching stuff around.
Right on. No, we were just saying how it was kind of nice to see Bernie in a little bit of a less scripted, I don't know. It's nice when he gets to be a little bit more casual, and obviously that was, not a debate, not a forum, so he could talk, to a smaller group and whatnot. So, did he say anything new to you, or was it pretty much?
I thought the whole thing was kind of a new thing for him. Just like the forum in particular, that what we just saw, that dinner thing, was just pretty much standard stump speech, really.
Right.
Typical stuff. It's all great, but we've heard it. You and I have heard it.
Yep. Yes, many times.
I can repeat the stump speech in my sleep.
Oh, we can hear you now.
Thank you. We can hear you now. Cindy.
Yeah, I'm in there.
You are very loud, though. So.
Oh my God.
All right. Well, then we got the scratchy. We got the scratchy, Cindy. So.
Yeah, it's the speaker problem. Sorry about that, guys.
That's all right.
Bernie's Revolution needs to bring me a new laptop. It won't.
Well, actually, Cindy, I think we're gonna have to drop you out and mute, because I don't know what's doing that, but it's definitely echoing through the speakers. It's not gonna work.
It is.
So,
okay.
I'm sorry. So anyway, we'll just carry on where we were. We got to get that fixed, folks. Remember, this is a volunteer network. So when people ask, and I'll just cut in really quick here. When people ask, why is the audio bad, or why is that happening, or why is this happening? There's no money here. We've got fan funding, and you guys have started to donate, and I really appreciate that. But this is a volunteer thing. Everybody's here on their own time, spending a ridiculous amount of time. I do this. I'm unemployed. I do this from the 6 a.m. till we're done every day, 7 days a week. And so I apologize. We're going to have to fix Cindy's laptop. She was the co-host of the show. We have a schedule where people sign in as volunteers to be host and co-host and comment mod. We have a whole training process for all of that. And we just got to get Cindy's laptop fixed, because everybody that's willing to be on a camera is valuable. Everybody that comes into our group is valuable. But the hosts and co-hosts and the comment mods spend a lot of time getting ready to do what they do, and everybody that's involved in the live production. So I didn't mean to cut Cindy off like that. We can't have that noise come through. It drives me nuts. And now we'll go back to Alice and me yammering about Bernie. And so, Alice, what I thought was completely different, just really quick, was the Democratic. He was fed questions, and they were definitely designed to attack him, right? Yes. But that was perfect. It was beautiful. I thought he responded with specifics this time. I thought his answer on democratic socialism was perfect.
That was spot on. Yeah.
Yeah, it was beautiful. If you don't get the answer, and Chuck Toad with his idiotic questions about healthcare and not understand. I mean, Bernie was on fire. His responses were badass, I thought. You?
Yeah. Oh no, absolutely. I have this huge list of everything that they covered. It's like the whole piece of paper, little notes about, and they just covered a huge amount of ground. And he was just like, he had an answer every time. He was never like, I don't know. It's like every single issue, he was like, okay, well, we're going to deal with this. We're going to address this. We're going to learn about this. This is related to this other issue. Like, I love how he interrelates things. I actually really liked the question about health, child care, and how that related to income inequality, creating the workforce that could do child care. I thought that was just like a really nuanced issue and a really nuanced response. So,
yeah, I agree. Wow, I'm like really laggy. I'm just noticing that. See, there's all sorts of problems here. If you guys knew how this thing was put together, you'd laugh. But I agree. The response. Here's what's going on. Like, they're asking for these really dumb, simple explanations. Chuck Todd's, why can't you fix it with this? Why isn't it like this? Why isn't it black and white? Bernie's like, it's a really complex issue. It involves this and this. The root cause is this. I've explained all these things. And they keep trying to ask these like 5th grade or lower questions about how he's going to fix things. It's like it's not solved in these big, dumb blocks of stupidity like we've had from establishment government in the past. It's solved with intelligent legislation that's actually designed to solve the problem, not filled with extra bullshit to pad this lobbyist or this company or this.
Right. Well, somebody asked, like, you didn't support this immigration bill, like, because it wasn't perfect, apparently was the quote. And he was like, well, no, it wasn't that it wasn't perfect. It was that it had some really terrible things attached to it. And I know I'm not alone, I'm sure, in this frustration that when they try to pass laws, it's not just like one law. It's like 50 different things, and they're totally not related to each other necessarily. And that, you know, creates all kinds of problems.
It really does. It's sorry, I'm leaving you up on screen there while I do some things.
That's cool. Everyone look at Esmeralda.
Well, I see that some people are leaving, and good night, those of you who hung in with us. But yeah, the questions coming out of the commentators' mouths were the way they were framing things, the way they were positioning things was so frustrating. This is one of the reasons why I created this damn network. It's like somebody has to do this right.
Right.
I think what Americans are waking up to, what the world is waking up to, is an understanding that what we're watching is a staged puppet show. And the fact that Bernie is able to actually answer these questions despite the setup, despite the bullshit, is amazing. I think that's...
No, I agree. They the last one of the other meta forums, I don't know, there have been so many, somebody used some very right-wing rhetoric to ask Bernie a question. I think it might have been something to do with like big government. Are you gonna bring back the era of big government or something like that? And I was just like, you realize that you're playing into that right-wing myth, you know, that big government is like this behemoth, evil monstrosity. You know, and that's not reality. The reality, as we keep saying, is more complicated. So yeah, you're right. The rhetoric that they're using is very, very scripted and very intentional. And I was honestly not aware that it was so managed. You know, until I started volunteering here.
Did you see the announcement that was made today? This is something we'll cover tomorrow in the newsroom. But there's a couple things that came out. ABC just released a tape of the Bernie push, or not the Hillary push poll going on in Nevada. So we actually have a tape of that. Super can't listen to that tomorrow. I mean, this kind of tactics, these kind of dirty tactics, folks. Push polls, it's ridiculous. But the media, what did we got? That basically, Robbie Mook, the guy who sends us a lot of the Hillary emails asking us for a buck, the latest one which says he did it again, folks. Bernie Sanders and his crazy bandit of radical socialists, commies, have outspent us again, 3-1. So congratulations, 99. We've been able to outraise and outspend Hillary in Nevada and New Hampshire, 3-1. Because that's what it takes to win this bullshit war against the establishment government, is to outspend them in their own machine.
And hopefully we will never have to waste money on this kind of nonsense again. Really. Like, I'm so excited to hear public funding of elections in the dialogue. Yeah, I hope that happens.
And when people talk about big government, the reason I'm going is when people talk about big government, it's like, okay, the government won't be so big when we actually have control of it, right? When we can say, no, you won't be spending money there. No, you won't be putting that in your pocket. No, your Walmart friends won't be making subsidies.
Right.
I don't think people understand that the enormity of the government, the waste of the government, is built within the establishment profit center. Okay? It's not anything about the government the way it runs. It's the corruption at the top that causes the waste. If the 99% were running our government, it'd be run pretty well. But it's run by a bunch of elitist bastards who don't want it to run. So big government, I'd love a ginormous government. I want a government that encompasses the world, because one that actually functions for the people runs great.
Yeah.
There's nothing to fear there. It's ours. We keep control of it this time. We don't let it go. We keep informed, and we have a great government. That's, I don't know. Pretty simple. But nobody, Chuck, that's way over Chuck's head, you know.
Well, it's not in the script, so it's not the talking points that the minders give them. So,
No, it's not.
Yeah, guys, I'll go read some dystopian novels and think about our media. It'll be interesting.
It is. All right, what do we want to do here? Do we want to keep yammering? Do you want to cut to a
No,
video?
let's close it out. I have a giant stew in a bread bowl waiting for me right over there. I go eat it.
You need to rest.
Yeah, hey, that sounds good, Cindy. Good to hear.
Hey, right on. Welcome back.
All right. I had somebody asked what a push pole is. You guys want to explain what a push pole is really quick?
Sure.
Oh, nasty stuff.
Do that while I set up the end video.
Okay, go ahead, Cindy.
Oh, a push poll? That's when you get a survey that's not really a survey, and they slant the questions where they try to make you think that the other person that they're against, that is Hillary's push poll against Bernie, he's a bad idea. Well, you wouldn't want a $15 minimum wage because that may lead to higher taxes. Are you for higher taxes?
Right.
And,
so
they're kind
basically
of pushing the
leading questions.
It's horrible.
No, so they're insinuating things about their opposition to get you to say you support them. But the blog I read about this, the guy actually knew his stuff and kind of questioned them, and that caused the whole process to explode. So just if someone like that calls you polling, don't take it lying down.
I think you should find out who's doing it and who's paying for it. I think it was a big Hillary PAC that was paying for the push polling in Nevada. Yeah, and it's a dirty trick. I really think it is pretty low. So
yeah, no, I think it is too. Well, and it doesn't tell you anything meaningful, other than it might influence votes, and that's I don't know. I don't feel like that's.
It's not pro-Hillary. It doesn't tell you what she's going to do. It just tries to make you not like Bernie.
Right,
so
and that's
you're just voting for Hillary because she's the lesser of two evils, which of course I don't agree with at all. And yes, that's all she's got going for her is what it seems like. So really, she needs to get new campaign staff and
she needs
to advertise herself.
To find a positive spin. I mean, if I were her, I would be like, "Why am I great? Why am I awesome?"
Because I'm a woman. You didn't know that.
Right. No, there's. I mean, I was actually
about me.
Say, like, what would I say if I were her?
Yeah.
She really has such a variable record.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I keep talking right over you.
No, it's me. No, I mean, she really does need to think of positively. She's had 8 years since she ran against Obama to make herself more positive, and yet she seems to have gotten more negative than ever, and she already had baggage. Her middle name is Hillary Baggage Clinton, we used to say in the 90s.
Yeah.
And that was her nickname. So, I mean, I would have used the 8 years a little more wisely and made myself seem more positive. But she's running an old-fashioned mudslinging campaign, I guess you'd say, and push polling, I guess, goes with that.
Pretty interesting that she is not quite in the new media age, whereas I think Bernie has found the right people to listen to at the very least. So so I guess I would like to thank Cindy. Thank you so much. Thank you, Eddie, the amazing Wonder Teen who volunteers here at Bernie TV. I love him. He's the bomb. Thank you, Scott. Scott is awesome. He brought us the live feed of the dinner, and he's done live interviews. He interviewed Debbie Wasserman Schultz last week, and I was like, wow, brave man.
He got near her.
Who else? Nico was helping. Jesse, I think, was helping in the chat also. So thank you. I'm sorry if I forgot anybody. So you guys.
There were so many people. There were so many people. I just dropped a note in the chat saying I was gonna babble a few things real quick about tomorrow. We've got the newsroom tomorrow, and you don't have to sit on here while I babble about these things. I'm gonna babble about tomorrow and what we've got going on, and probably be out of sync from what I can see here. And then you set up. You tell them about Bernie Bay by Very Hangry Productions. This already looks ridiculous. 110,000 views. So you tell me about this. You tell them about this right after I do this. Tomorrow, folks, 9 a.m. Pacific, noon Eastern, the Real Newsroom, Bernie Sanders edition. Currently with a lot less cussing. We've turned it down more to a family show, cover more news. Join us. It's a show that really looks at all the news that's been happening in the last 24-hour news cycle. We separate fact from fiction, and we talk about what this means for Bernie and the political revolution. Join us tomorrow for that. We also have, I know there's something going on. There's a concert somewhere, and we should have a feed from it. So at some point in the day, we'll announce that. And the best way to know what's going on with this channel is to subscribe. So please subscribe to our channel. And if you notice, I just turned up the volume, probably noticed that. If you also notice, there's now a fan funding button. This doesn't give YouTube any money as far as I can tell. We don't monetize any of the videos on our channel. The reason there are ads on our channel is because other individuals, creatives whose videos, whose content we use, they monetize. There's no problem with that. I just won't monetize our channel. I won't let corporate videos. They're not going to make money that way. So we did a fan funding thing. I'll talk more about that tomorrow. What it means. That's just been turned on. Newsroom tomorrow. Some concert at some point. There'll be Bernie. It's the weekend. You know how this goes. And I think that's it. Alice, what are we listening to here?
Okay, somebody dropped this in our Slack, and it just made me laugh. So it is a song called Bernie Bay by Very Hangry Productions.
Lovely.
Good stuff.
Change and hope, but then it fell apart. I was feeling hopeless and so cynical. Now you've got me focused. Bernie, you're a miracle. Was gonna vote Hillary, she's not feeling real to me. Won't vote O'Malley, honestly, who is he? You're so progressive and introspective. Wanna get you elected. I'm burning up for you, it's never gonna stop. You're much more than a human, Birkenstock. Your hair's messy and white, but you fight for civil rights. Baby, we can feel it, Buster all night.
Talk Bernie to me. Talk Bernie to me. Talk Bernie to me. Talk Bernie to me.
We both say l'chaim to pro-choice. You believe the middle class deserves a great big voice. I love your dream of income equality. It makes me want to contribute individually. Killer Mike, Steve Wozniak, once you feel the burn, you can't go back. Art Garfunkel and Cornel West, that beats Kim K and Kanye West. Your policies on corporate greed always bring me to my knees. Wanna feed you Ben and Jerry's and some Vermont cheddar cheese. I'm burning up for you, it's never gonna stop. You're much more than a human, Birkenstock. Your hair's messy and white, but you fight for civil rights. Baby, we can feel it, Buster all night. I'm burning up for you, it's never gonna stop. You're much more than a human, Birkenstock. Your hair's messy and white, don't you fight for civil rights.
huge